Hello everyone. This video is to show you how to do the Daydream Careers assignment. So you have two choices. You can download a Word doc or you can download the Google Doc. These are the same, just some people prefer to use Google Docs, some prefer to use a Word doc. So I'm going to use a Google Doc. Now, once you get to this place, you need to open with Google Docs, and then you need to make a copy because you will not be able to edit this. So you're going to click Make a Copy, and I always like to just change it to my name. So I might put Emily Versace, and then boom, you can save it. And if you don't have a Gmail account, just make a Gmail account and you will be able to get a copy of this document. All right, now the instructions are right up here. Think of every job you have ever thought of or considered. Begin with careers you were interested in as a child and work your way through your career ideas up until now. Don't worry about a career being silly or good, just list all the ideas you have had. Then assign each career 1 or 2 Holland Code letters based on what we learned about the Holland Code. And this just reminds you of what the letters are for the Holland Code. So when I think back to me as a child, one of the jobs I wanted doesn't even exist anymore, but I wanted to be a film developer because my mom would never, pictures used to be taken on film. And then you had to take the film to get it developed, and then like 2 weeks later you would get the pictures, or if you went to a special place that does like 1 hour photo, you could get it quicker. So my mom never developed photos, and I always wanted to see the pictures, so I thought I'll be a film developer when I grow up. Why do I tell you this story? Just because even though later in life I don't really have any desire to be a film developer, that's okay. Just write down every idea you have. So I thought of being a film developer, I thought about being a teacher, I thought about being an actress, I thought about being a singer, I thought about being a lawyer. I can't spell, but I thought about making movies and being a director. I thought about then I wanted to be a teacher again. I don't really need to write it twice, but I also thought about being a school counselor. So there you go. So I have a list of ideas. Now that I've got my list of ideas, I want to start putting in the Holland codes. Now, there are more than one possible answer here. Different people, different groups use the Holland Code to categorize careers, and they don't all come up with exactly the same letters. And that's all right. So you're just going to do your best. So with film developer, to me, that seems realistic because it's physical tasks of doing something. It also feels artistic to me because you're working with images. So I would call this RA. A teacher, I would call that S for social, you're helping. An actress, I would consider artistic. Singer, artistic. Lawyer, there's a lot of ways you could go with lawyer. I think I'll go with enterprising because you're trying to win the jury over to your opinion. Director, that would be artistic. Counselor, that would be social. So as I look at this list, I'm just looking to see, are there any patterns? So I see a lot of artistic. I also see some social in here. All right. So look at your career daydreams list. What careers are you still interested in? Why? Which ones no longer interest you and why? So I would look up and say film developer, not interested. Singer, not interested. Lawyer, not interested. Director, not interested. Teacher, counselor, still interested. Actress, I have fun with it. But I don't want that to be my career. So that kind of divides it up. So I would write about that. And I would write why. Like, for example, the arts are fun, but I really care about job stability. And I used to be very into performing, and I'm just not that interested in it anymore. So some of my interests have changed. All right, what Holland code letters show up most in your list? Do you still relate to those? So for me, I saw a lot of A and I saw some S. Do I still relate to those? Yeah, I do. I love helping people and I love being creative. And those two things, I use both of them as a counselor. So I would write a paragraph about that. At this point in your life, which Holland code letter do you think fits you best and why? So for me, I would say, it's A and S. It's very hard for me to decide. So if you're like me and it's hard to decide, just try to pick something, okay? So here I might say currently being artistic is important to me because I love to be creative in writing my lesson plans and coming up with curriculum. So there you go. But I do it because I want to help, so that's why it's tricky. See? So if it's tricky for you, no worries. So you're just going to fill this out, and you can type right into here, whoops, yeah, those aren't real words. But you can tie your answers in here. And then, all right, so once you finish it, next you're going to hit Submit Assignment. And if you're going to do a Word doc, you just click Upload. If you're going to do the Google Doc, you're going to click Web URL. And if you're going to use Google, it's very important to click on your document, click Share. Right now you can see it's private only to me. So if I email the link to somebody, they will not be able to open it. So you want to change it to anyone with the link can view, and then click Copy Link. And then you go back here and you can type it in here. So, and you hit Submit Assignment. All right, then when I click on that link, it's going to take me to this document that you wrote on. All right, so that's how you do it. Let me know if you have any questions.